It has been years since we've seen Berwick debut in the game. The last iteration we got of Berwick was Swick. And Swick back in the day was pretty okay. He wasn't amazing, he wasn't terrible, but he was a good unit. But now in the Ascended era, ladies and gentlemen, he has upgraded massively, and he has become the Demon Edge Berwick. Demon Edge Berwick boasting a ton of damage, a little bit of supporting capabilities, and one of the best artworks and animations in the game. So we gotta check them all out, see what he's doing, and see how good this character truly is. Look at him right here, bro. Oh my goodness, this artwork. To be honest with you though, I think I might like this one a little bit more. I love it in the regular artwork. You can see him holding like the sheath of the blade, which is actually very cool because even in his sprite in game, he's constantly holding the sheath of his blade 24/7 in like all of his animations, which is just so freaking nice. Enough about his artwork, let's talk about what he does. So if you look at his abilities, he has three main ones. You have Earth Killer level 5, Ignition Command, and True Flame. Ignition Command and True Flame are going to be your Magia Drive passives, True Flame being, of course, the Magia Drive Unlimited passive. In terms of the kit, he has a skill that's able to reduce the enemy's fire res by 50%. That is massive for a skill. With his art, he's able to buff up fire allies' art gauge by 20, and you buff up all stats for everyone by 30%. And also, whenever you activate this during Magia Drive, this is what activates Magia Drive Unlimited. In terms of the True Art, this is what's going to allow you to activate Magia Drive. But then once you're actually in Magia Drive, the next time you use this True Art, you're going to buff up everybody's physical damage by 200%. In terms of the Super Art, the Super Art is going to give you a massive multiplier at 180,000. It's going to ignore the enemy's defense and buff up your own damage by 50% for 40 seconds. In terms of his slots, he has a 5-star physical, 5-star physical, and a 4-star magic. If you take him all the way up to LB7, he's going to be getting a 4-star defense. For the 5-star physicals here, this is what I'm going to tell you right now. Make sure you pick up his True Weapon for sustain. His True Weapon is fantastic because this is the only thing in his entire kit that gives him art gauge. Nothing else gives him art gauge, and this gives him passive 5 arts per second, and he's going to need that because he is so hungry for arch gen. If you got his True Weapon already on him, the next thing that I'm going to be recommending is some type of good arch gen item. You can go with something like Harusame here just to get him into his Magia Drive quicker, or you can go with something like True Izanagi or any other solid arch gen item. If you are nuking with them for these 5-star physical slots, I actually will not recommend going with his True Weapon here and instead going for a really strong burst arch gen item in both slots like a Genos Fest and a Harusame. 4-star magic's a little weird because he's not a magic damage dealer, but there's still some okay ones that you could use here. You can of course use the All Reliable, the magical outfit. This just gives him an attack down and defense down. Or what I've been personally really like using just to buff up his damage even more is going to be Narburl's Battle Dress. And now for the crest slots on this unit. What I'm going to be recommending here, ladies and gentlemen, first and foremost, get that attack up on him. He's an attacker. He's going to be wanting to hit hard. The more base attack he has, the harder he's going to hit. The next thing I'm going to be recommending here is Art Gauge Up. Art Gauge Up I think is extremely beneficial on Berwick, not just for if you want to use him in nukes, but also just for giving him a little bit of a head start. Since he is very arch gen hungry, you're going to be needing tons of arch gen on this character to make full use of his kit. If you want to go more damage oriented stuff, you can go Promise of the Funeral God, or I forgot what it's called. Is it Curse Frost? I don't remember. The one that gives you physical damage but lowers your defense or something. That one will be also good on him. And that's pretty much it. He's an attacker. Just put the usual stuff on him and you should be good. And now here we are at the animations, bro. Oh my goodness. You guys, let me tell you, if you haven't seen Berwick's animations, or specifically Demon Edge Berwick's animations, they kind of snap with them. First and foremost, look at the stance, right? Let's look at the attack skill here. As you see, he's going to slice once, not even 2 slices, just a singular slice. We have the skill here, which is actually just a wave of fire in front of him. We have the art, which is a little bit different. As you see, he's finally starting to use the blade a little bit more, use his speed a little bit, right? Even though it's a bunch of lines, it still looks really cool. And then as you see, they incorporate the skill here, but it's actually a different animation. It's actually more of like a fiery explosion effect, and it's a little bit more detailed. The True Art, this doesn't actually show you him going into Magia Drive. This only shows the animation. As you see, sheaths the blade, slices in front of him. I love it so much. I love too how whenever he's sheathing it, he's like charging it, and then once it's fully charged, you see that flash, and then as soon as you see the flash, he just unleashes it out in front of him. And the Super Art, which is arguably the best Super Art in the game right now. Let me show you. So, puts it in, dashes everywhere. Ooh, look at it. Oh, puts the blade back. Do you see him? Do you see him? He was in the cut, put the blade back, all the slices behind him. I love it so much. This is really good. I love the animation on this. The only thing is that this kind of sucks for nuking because this lasts for a very long time. Like, he has to charge it, then he's going, he slices, and then this ending part right here has so many additional hits and hits so freaking hard, but it's hard sometimes for bosses to stay alive once Berwick does that. And also, you know, I gotta do it. You know what I thought instantly whenever I saw this Super Art?
You shall die.
I am the storm that is
You can't tell me they didn't take inspiration from freaking Virgil on the way how this character is. So animation wise alone, boys, I think it's finally time. I didn't think I would see the day, but I'm just gonna say it. Demon Edge Berwick, 10 out of 10 animations. I know. I'm just as shocked as all of you. So the first thing I'm gonna show you guys is actually nuking with Demon Edge Berwick. However, it takes a lot, and I do mean a lot of arch gen. As you see, this is the nuke team that we're gonna be rocking here. The War God Finn, the Sinki, the Shady, and of course Demon Edge Berwick. I will say this nuke doesn't exactly work on stages with more than 3 fights in it. If it's more than 3, more than likely the nuke's gonna fail because you're gonna run out of steam. However, if the stage is 3 or less, it works pretty well. And here's the thing about this nuke specifically is that I actually do have his auto AI set up to where he does go into Magia Drive first, as you see here. He's going to go into Magia Drive, then he's going to go into his Super Art. However, if you didn't want him to go into his Magia Drive because it just gives him 100% attack bonus, you just use him to instantly go into the Super Art, or you could also use him to go into his Magia Drive, then go into his True Art to give everyone the massive 200% physical damage buff. Because as you can tell, even though we have 200 art gauge here, Berwick will still not be able to get his Super Art off all the time. It's a little bit reliant on the BE department, which I kind of wish, I mean, I think there might be, but I don't know. Is there a physical item that buffs up BE gen? There might be. As you see here, you know, Berwick's barely even getting into his Super Art, so he's just going to go into his True Art, which means if I was setting up this AI a little bit better, I would just set it to where he can use his True Art too, because that's still going to be a massive amount of damage with the 200% damage up to everyone. The details, Sinki, of course, dealing the most damage because she is the fastest out of the whole team. If you want to see how it would work against the takedown battle, it works pretty well. Pretty much exactly how I planned it to work in theory. So you see Berwick's going to go instantly into his True Art. I'm just going to flick it up right there just so he can do it. Okay, now he's going to go into his Super Art. And also, I don't know why that's not popping. Probably because it's on wave 2 or higher and not the last wave. But as you see, Berwick's first few hits don't really do too crazy of damage. But then the last hits, as you see once he flashes, yeah, you see that? Adds up very quick. Definitely not too bad. I think that I should probably tweak the AI just a little bit more so we don't use all of our arch-gen items, because if I do that, Berwick will be able to get off a Super Art more consistently. It does work. It is a little bit finicky, but it technically does work. You might need to mess around with some stuff and everything, but you can nuke with them to an extent. You can. Really, I would just say if you want to be super optimal with it or just super safe, just play into the Super Art. Don't even worry about going into Magia Drive, and you should be fine fighting against majority of bosses in the game. Now, if you want to see how he would do in more so like a sustained comp, this is kind of the team that I would envision with them. Well, of course, we have Demon Edge Berwick. We're going to be having the Eins here, which may seem a little bit weird, but I'll tell you about him in just a second. We have the Rin. She's going to be able to ramp up our damage every single time she burns an enemy, which is extremely valuable. And of course, Mako's here to help everyone get art gauge, more damage, and more healing. But the reason why we're using Eins is because Eins actually does give more arch to demon units, which of course Demon Edge Berwick's going to want that. And the reduced crit res is really nice, even though Demon Edge Berwick doesn't need it because he does ignore 100% defense. He also is able to reduce fire and dark res with his art, and the Super Art is also going to be buffing up crit damage too. So everything about this man is just going to help him out quite a bit. But the way how you're going to be playing Demon Edge Berwick whenever you're using him, especially in sustained comps and you have enough arch gen, let me say, you're going to want to go into his True Art as soon as you can to get into his Magia Drive. And once he's in his True Art, then you're going to be using his art to get him in Magia Drive Unlimited, going back into his True Art to get the physical damage buff to everybody, then finally capping it all off with the Super Art. Which I would say in most situations, especially in a lot of long form content like the mines or whatever, that shouldn't be too difficult. Because once you have him going in like a team like this, he's able to get quite a bit of arts. Because mind you, he has the art gauge from Eins and Mako, plus he's also having the arch gen from his true weapon as well, so he's doing really good in the arch gen department. And yeah, once you do that, you kind of just vibing for the rest of the time, man. You're just out here chilling, just doing the same thing until the boss is eventually dead. All I'm gonna say is don't be sleeping on the mans, because as you see right here, bang, 240 million. God, I'm telling you, do not be playing with this man, Demon Edge Berwick. 240 million? 240 million. Absolute insanity. You know what? Let me actually check something real quick. What is even here right now in terms of... Oh, no, not that. I haven't done a new story chapter yet, so I don't know if there's a boss in here. So if there is a new boss in the new chapter, I'm going to have to try it and see how difficult it is. Because if that is a boss that I can actually use Demon Edge Berwick against, then more than likely whenever I attempt that boss and record the video for it, I'll use Demon Edge Berwick in that. Just to give this man some more spotlight. Because to be honest, I vibe with my man. I'm going to be honest with you. I like him a lot. The only negative I really see with Demon Edge Berwick is that for one, he needs a lot of arch gen, which is I think like the most apparent thing, right? And then the other thing too is that he doesn't really do much for the team because he's mainly just a DPS character, right? Granted, he is giving you some arch gen and physical damage buffs if you, oh my god, he died, I didn't even notice. Hey, that just means we get more time to show him off. But like I was saying, he doesn't really do much for the team, right? He's very, I don't want to say selfish, but he's mainly just a DPS unit, which I really don't know how to feel about just pure DPS characters. Granted, he does have some supporting capabilities in the kit, but let's be honest here. If you're using this guy, you're using him for the damage. Also, does he have a revive on him? I think he does. I think we're fine. Hopefully. Yeah, I think he still has a revive, doesn't he? Yeah, he should. I mean, he's probably gonna die right here. Okay, we gotta throw another one on him. Actually, he didn't die. Goodness. Popping off with all this stuff again, then let's see the damage, if there is any. I mean, slowly but surely. One thing that would be really nice is that if Swordsman Berwick also gave himself 100% defense ignore with all of his attacks, which I'm wondering exactly why they didn't do that, because as we know with a character like Miyu, they did, and Miyu came after Swordsman Berwick, of course, but still, it's like, you gave it to Miyu. Why didn't you just give it to Swordsman Berwick as well? Or even Chobei. Chobei has 100% defense ignore as long as you're above a certain HP threshold, so I feel like once you used his super art, he would be able to have like 100% defense ignore for like 30 seconds or so. Would that really be too crazy for this man? But I guess it would be, because he does give himself a lot of damage, but I mean, Chobei literally stacks damage infinitely. As you see like that though, Demon Edge, bro, I'm telling you, this guy do some damage, bro. One thing that I will say, even though he is a selfish damage dealer, if you put him on a team and he is the only DPS character, he will not disappoint you. He's going to be able to do everything for you. Everyone else focuses on supporting the team and keeping the team alive. So all in all, I really like this character. He's such a fun character. You can nuke with him. You can use him in sustain. You're gonna be able to use this guy in a lot of long form content. I can't wait for the mines to come back to be able to try him up against that. And overall, I just love him so much. I used to not be a fan of Berwick, but with Demon Edge Berwick, I'm a pretty big fan now. I love this character. I really do. But ladies and gentlemen, that's going to be it for this one. Tell me down below what you guys think about Demon Edge Berwick. Do you like him? Do you not? He's not the most meta-breaking character, but he is a very fun character to say the least. Either way, though, thank you all again for coming out. And last but not least, you guys already know, don't forget to drink water.